White Noise Metal.
With that BS dude, Brian Shields.
Welcome to White Noise Metal. I'm that BS dude, Brian Shields, sitting here with Brian Fair, who of course is the lead singer for Shadows Fall. It's a real thrill for me because actually in 2 nights in a row I get to interview my 2 favorite bands in the whole world between The Buried and Me last night and now Shadows Fall.
I'm glad we're on that list.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Nice.
And it's the first night of the tour and supporting the new record, and I'm real excited about it. I've got it, I got the big box set.
Nice. The box set came out crazy. I just love seeing the vinyl too. You gotta still love vinyl.
Absolutely.
For kids who don't know what vinyl is, they're round records that has music on them.
Right. You take a little paper That's right. So, tell me a little bit about what the approach was for this record. Sort of a transition between Redemption on the last record to Retribution on this record.
Yeah, I guess so. It's definitely maybe a darker, more aggressive record than the last one. There's still a lot of melody. There's still always gonna be. It's always a big part of our sound. But I think this record's like a little more up tempo, a little more thrash beats, and I think a lot of it was just from the way we even wrote. We wrote a lot of stuff all together in the practice space, full volume, like at once, as opposed to trading CDs with like a bunch of ideas with like a drum machine or a quick track or something like that. And so I think that kind of playing it live and loud added to the energy of the record, maybe kicked it up a notch in intensity.
From your nose, with every lie you told, when with all you took from me, you're begging for insanity.
And a lot of the transitions, were worked out on the spot from weird jams, so you got a little more the technical side of it in there too. But yeah, we're just really excited with it. We think it's a perfect balance of all our influences, from old school classic metal, like the Priest and the Maiden influence that we'll always have, through the melodic death metal, like At the Gates and stuff like that, to bring in everything we've ever done. And I'm just psyched to play it live finally, and to play the songs on stage. That's the best part.
So, how much do you think about what the live performance is going to be like when you're sitting down and trying to write?
Yeah, because we record, I wrote a lot of these together as a band. They were ready to go on stage. Some songs in the studio in the past. The first time we ever played it live is all the way through is usually on stage sometimes, well in practice. But like when we're writing, a lot of times some stuff isn't finished until the studio. So you don't really know how it's gonna go. With this record, these songs were built for the stage, and because of the way they were written. So we're really excited. We busted out Public Execution and Still I Rise a few times already. So those were like little tests out there. So but tonight we're gonna lean pretty heavy on the new record. Try and bring in stuff from all of them, but we're definitely focusing on Retribution tonight.
Okay, so, and this is I thought, among the more balanced records that you have. I mean, I didn't think there's anything close to a weak track on this record, and I couldn't decide what it was that I wanted to talk to you about today because there was, War, I think, is a really, really wonderful,
we wanted each song to really stand on its own, too, because, War is a straight-up, fist to the face, just balls out thrash tune.
What's out for my last one thing? That rolls one way superior. Let's another inferior. Which finally, when from my victory, discredited, with abandoned, there will be.
Whereas a song like The Taste of Fear is a really dark, slow, kind of brooding, like evil sounding song, but it's got a lot of melody. So we wanted each song to represent something that we bring to the table, but not necessarily try and cram them all into the same song. We didn't want all those ideas like, we haven't had the brutal part, so let's just stick it in there. It's like, no, if this song is starting as a heavy melodic rock song, it's gonna finish that way. Whereas if it's gonna start as a death metal song, it's gonna finish that way. So.
Let's play to your seduction. Open myself to sweet destruction. Pray for your affection. Still I welcome this rejection. Tear down, winter ruin. It goes around, the taste of fear.
things that I love the most about Shadows Fall is that you guys are all incredibly talented musicians, but it's not about, holy wow, shit, look at me, I'm fucking badass. It's all in service of the music.
Yeah, they know when not to play, and when, like, if it's a big open line chorus with just, you know, like big chords, Jay's not gonna suddenly throw a million drum fills behind it. He's just gonna lay it, fall on the floor, and throw the AC/DC beat down, you know? Yeah. But when it's time to rip, you know, it's time to rip. They definitely show their skills, but it's not about, look what I can do, you know? It's about, let's write a great metal song. And I'm just lucky because I get 4 amazing musicians, and I just get to yell and jump around and over it, you know?
What was the approach on that song?
It was one of those songs that was probably the most spontaneous of the songs we wrote. Me, Matt, and John were walking up the stairs to the practice space and we heard Paul and Jason jamming on this little groove. And from there, we just started jamming along with him, and then John threw that crazy little lead line over it, and it led right into a few riffs that Matt had already had. He already had that verse. I think John actually might even have the chorus. So those all just kind of fell together in one practice, where sometimes, you know, you're piecing together for months and rewriting. This one was like, bang, and it changed very little from the initial practice. And lyrically, it's kind of a song about championing like inner strength, but also rejecting the idea that a lot of people will project perfection onto something they think is unattainable, or they like the first line, stop searching the sky for answers and look within, instead of always putting everything in the hands of a god or a higher power. Realize that the power is inside of you, you know, and it's also your responsibility. If you want things to change, you can't just pray for change. You have to create change, you know. And it's not a knock on anyone's spiritual beliefs or religion, but it's about like not using that as an excuse or as an escape route. You know, really using it to inspire you. You know, like, because that's one problem I've always had with kind of a dogmatic approach to religion. If you just want to read the rules and think, oh, at the end of the day I'll be fine because I just read, you know, I did everything I was supposed to, but you didn't really do anything to help the world. That's kind of missing the point. So. Yeah. And it's also about it, and when things do reach their bleakest, to know that you have the power inside you to make a change, you know.
And this is kind of a theme that we've seen with Shadows Fall for a long time, going all the way back to Thoughts Without Words and Mystery of One Spirit.
Yeah, I always try and bring somewhat of a positive slant on things. There's some dark songs in this record, even songs like My Demise and Taste of Fear have they're about subjects that are, you know, darker and something, you know, painful at times, but there's always a glimmer of hope or a warning, like, you know, to at least try and a wake-up call as opposed to just discussing the bad shit without not giving any sort of resolution, you know? Not survive, something not survive. Spent my whole life dreaming, waiting for the end. I give myself no reason for the violence in my head. The dreams I won't take on to, well, that's still my head. Here we go,
Talk to me a little bit about Public Execution.
It was actually the first song we wrote on the record, so which I think set the tone again for making an aggressive record when that's the first song you write. There's no brutal tune on it, and it's funny. It was coming together, and we had these gang vocal ideas, and we've never had a curse on a record before, and we're like, this is chant fuck. So, it just fits so the energy of the song. And it's funny. It's kind of the song about that like anger and energy, but it's unfocused. You know, when you're just like revolution for the sake of it, but you have no idea what you're railing against. And that can be kind of happen sometimes in aggressive music, where it's like, especially in early thrash, you have some classic lyrics that like, you know, they inspired you to do something, they just didn't tell you what. Yeah. So it's kind of, you know, a tongue-in-cheek approach to that, but at the same time using the same sort of, ways that they get you to sing along with those ideas. And to me, what better sing-along than you have than just fuck it all, you know?
Right.
And I think it's also an attitude that a lot of people can embrace in this day and age when everything's just such a mess. You know, sometimes just throw your hands up in the air. This is just chaos. As far as the business side, we couldn't be in a better place though. We signed, you know, one record deal with Atlantic with an option, and things were cool at Atlantic, but the company was changing. They were firing a lot of people. It was shrinking. Major labels are kind of in a panic about record sales. You know, things are getting really tough for them to do things the way they used to. Yeah. So we decided to be proactive about it, being like, let's change the business model, where we still use a major label, you know, Warner Music as a distributor, so they can get us into retail and open those doors that we wouldn't be able to on our own. And then they hire Ferret Records out of that to do the everyday promotions. You know, a DIY thinking label that understands a band like us from the ground up, but we make the final decision on everything. So we know that the bottom line is no longer about helping the record label, it's about helping us. Because we're the bottom line.
And you guys know your audience better than some bureaucrat sitting in an office somewhere.
Exactly, and we micromanage anyway, and we're used to doing everything under, you know, trying to make all those decisions to begin with. So it was kind of to take the power back, and also just flip the grid where instead of everyone getting paid and us getting the trickle down royalties at the end, we flipped it. We're like, now it goes to us, so it's like, it gives you a little motivation to work harder. Yeah, it is more work running your own label, but it's worth it in the end, and especially to see the way that changed is crazy. Like to go from 10 to 12% to 70 to 80%, big difference.
Yeah. and do you think this is going to become a model for other bands?
I believe so, and I think some bands are already doing it. I was Down did a similar thing for their last record, and a lot of bands that we've talked to that are now free agents are really thinking this way because things have changed a lot. You know, in the last 10 years, it's huge change. The last 5 years even, it's been crazy in the music industry. So to not try and shake things up and at least try a new business model, it's silly to just stay on a sinking ship just because it's the way things are done. So, and again, it allows, like you said, a band who understands their audience to just directly do things. And now with peer-to-peer marketing the way it is, I mean, I talk to people every day on our Facebook and through Twitter and stuff like direct. That's how you communicate with fans. And then you're on the road. That's how metal bands should be doing it. You don't need that $1 million video and all that other stuff. You know, so.
That was great what you guys did with Twitter on the day of the album release, right? You were getting people to tweet back and retweet things and to talk about what their favorite songs were.
Totally. And I'm also going to use Twitter beyond that. For this tour, I'm going to every day give a secret password or something random to be like, yo, if you come to the merch table today and say this, you're going to get free something. If we have guest list spots, I'm going to give them away on Twitter. So we're going to use it to really just talk to people on that way. I mean, it may be something as simple as hey, if you meet me at 7:30 at the bar, I'll buy you a shot of Jägermeister if you got a valid ID. You know, like just ways to meet people and spread the word. And, it's cool. You know, you got to use all the tools that are out there because it's getting tough to survive as a band in a traditional way if you don't make some changes and find a way to make it work.
Who is the Shadows Fall?
It's a very eclectic mix of metalheads from little kids who found us on Guitar Hero to dudes who saw us with King Diamond 10 years ago. So it's a very eclectic mix, which is what's great about a tour like this with Five Finger Death Punch and OTEP. Everyone's bringing people from different audiences but who have similar backgrounds but may not have gone to see one band or the other by themselves. You know, so I always like that. We like to keep it. We've never been pigeonholed into one subgenre. You know, so we've been able to really bring a lot of different bands. And as we get older and our original fans get older, they start bringing their kids. You know?
That's crazy. So maybe I won't be the oldest person in the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. You never know.
Yeah, excellent.
Peter will always be the oldest one here, our drummer, so.
Shit we like.
White noise metal.
So let's go on to the segment we call Shit We Like, where we ask the bands that we're interviewing to recommend the sort of things that you're listening to these days. What's in your CD player?
You know, I've been listening to a lot of instrumental music, and one band in particular, Russian Circles, I really love their record Stations. It's like, it'll start really minimalistic, you know, like little guitar riffs that just build to these huge riffs, you know, and it's sick. Maybe I'm listening to a lot of instrumental music because I'm a singer, so I'm like, just sick of people yelling at me and having to hear it. So, but that's one band that people should definitely check out.
Anything else you wanted to ask about?
Just Retribution. It's out. Check it out. And follow me on Twitter, Brian Chad Fall, as well as Facebook, same name. So, yeah, who knows? I may end up buying you a shot.
If you like this band, you should buy their music and other merchandise at whitenoisemetal.com. If you like White Noise Metal, say so with positive comments on iTunes and MySpace. And please tell your friends about the bands you've heard on White Noise Metal with that BS dude, Brian Shields.
White noise!